712 Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket, George DiGianni Train Station Fitness Show. This is the time that will either make me or break me. This is where when a guest is a no-show, yes, you heard it right, our guest is a no-show. JJ Virgin is not on the call, can't get in touch with her. The show that I teased during the week and just a few minutes ago will not happen at this point. So what do I need to do? I need to make it up. And so what we're going to do is defer to you, the listener, that has questions, has comments about, so we'll make this kind of like an all about you show, okay? There's not any particular topic I'll have. Something I can do to help you let me know what I'm going to do right now to change gears and help you in a different way is I will defer my show topic to Dave in the studio and also Samantha, who happens to be here. We'll have a little fun because what I want to know, in what is it, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, the first holiday that is upon us is Thanksgiving. And we experience some type of stresses as we approach the holidays. I mentioned this early on. Some of those stresses is gathering with family, just traveling during that time, shopping, so you have Black Friday, eating certain foods, your comfort foods, and all of these stressors that we may not be aware of can wreak havoc on our health. What does that do? It affects our immune system, our mental state. Oh, by the way, we gain weight. We tend to gain or blame gaining weight on the holiday food, but I don't think, it's just my opinion, that enough of us appreciate, and I don't mean that in a positive way, or recognize, let's say, the effects that everything I just mentioned, from holiday stress with family to traveling to shopping and the food, has on our weight. So we gain weight, not necessarily just from the food, but all the stressors we experience. And I don't know if enough people, I suspect there aren't enough people who have a support system in place. Have you even considered having a support system in place? And if so, who are they or what is it? 888-787-1310. I venture to guess, Dave, that many people aren't going to call since I don't take calls, right? And most people listen to the show, either they'll listen to it on the audio file you send to me, or when it's on YouTube, they'll watch it. So if you're listening now, call because we want to hear from you. I'd like to hear from you. So, Dave, you're about, what are you, 1 year younger than me? I'll be 47 coming up the end of November.
I just turned 47 in August.
Oh, okay, so you're a little older than me. You're a fit guy. Do you succumb to the holiday foods that you feel you have no control over, and maybe you don't want to have control over it? Maybe it's your thing. You're looking forward to Thanksgiving and or Christmas or any other holiday where you get to have your mom's food.
I do look forward to it for sure, and it's pretty obscene, the amount of food and desserts that we have.
Oh, I thought you were going to say how much you eat.
But I've kind of made a conscious effort to, you have to make decisions.
Do you find that you make better decisions as you get older because of your health, or do you find you make better decisions as you get older because of ego, because of not wanting to get out of shape?
No, I think it's more just thinking about my health.
Yeah.
Where, you used to load up the plate with a little bit of everything, and now it's like, you make those decisions like, I don't need 3 different kinds of potatoes. Maybe one's fine.
Right. Good. We got some callers. Thank you. These are people that like me. So I know one of the blessings I've had in my life is Samantha has learned how to cook some of my mother's food, and I get to have it. So what my mother does is she'll make something called pepperoni bread. It's so bad for you, so high in fat, that you can just cut out the middleman and put all of this in a needle, inject it in your heart, and just die. It's that bad. But it tastes so incredibly good. The blessing is that Samantha's learned how to cook some of these foods that my mother makes. The curse is that Samantha's learned how to cook some of these foods that my mother makes. And so I get to have them now more than once a year. Dave, let's go ahead and go to our first call to see what type of support system they might have. Brian in Dallas, you are on the ticket.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Thank you. How are you?
Good, good. One thing that I've encountered over the last, and it seems to have worked over the last 2 to 3 years during this time is my network is I run, and so I have a lot of running friends, and I try to enter as many 5Ks, there's the half marathon at White Rock coming up, and keep my mind saddled with the idea that I'm, in a sense, in training mode. And so whenever I do go to the holiday parties, whenever I do encounter family, I'm still in that mode of, well, I can eat certain things because I have to be able to, get my time down to whatever time that may be. I think if you have your mindset to, well, I'm preoccupied with something else, I've got to train it, have it be in competitive mode, it really does help when you might, want that extra piece of pie or that extra helping of gravy or something on your turkey. That's
so, Brian, are you in sales by chance in your career?
Yes.
Are you a owner or part owner of a company?
No.
Okay, but you're in sales, and the weight of being successful, providing for you and your family, falls on your shoulders, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let me tell you where I'm going with this, because I want people to be able to identify and relate with it. Okay. Many people who are leaders in their field, whether it comes to being successful in sales and you rely on those commissions and bonuses, or owning a company, are also self-motivated. And so they can be disciplined, like you said, George, I am in training mode, or in my mind I'm in training mode, and these are the things that I do. And I love that. You may or may not be able to help with this, but what about the people who are not leaders? So in your field of work, you may have people who are on the bottom of the totem pole that are not great at sales, or in a different position, and you find that they're not as motivated as you are. Can you identify with where they are and what type of system that might be able to help those people?
Yes, I think in the long run, at the end of the day, it really does come down to the person making that decision that they're going to do something different. You can lead them to the pond, but you can't force them to drink. Right. I think the people that want to change, or they want to, let's say, maybe not change. Let's say they whatever they've done up until this point has worked, and where they fail is, well, it was our company potluck, and I had to bring a dessert. I was in there, so I decided to eat, and it starts from there. It's not that you don't lose the battle in one day. It starts, So
let me interject for a moment, Brian. You just brought up a great point. You have the company meeting, and you bring a dessert. If I see pumpkin pie, it's one of my favorite desserts. It's plain, but that's how I like certain foods. And if I go to one of these company meetings, which I don't because I have my own company, but if I went to one of these company meetings, I would want that. How do you refrain from having a food like that? Do you prepare ahead of time, or is it 100% mental when you're there? You're in training mode, and that's just the end of it. You've committed to commit.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, at least for me personally, I can't speak for anybody else. I just take the mindset of hey, it looks great. I've got I have a goal to meet. I'm sure that would be great. And in my head, I'm thinking, those things will always be available. What won't always be available to me is the path I'm on to staying in shape, keeping my 32-inch waist.
How old are you?
I'm 39, actually.
So what I like about your age is you're still as motivated at this age as maybe you were in your early 30s or even 20s, which is very difficult because as we get older, we lose the desire or the edge because our hormones change, right? Or maybe we get more settled in our ways. And so to stay that committed, that focused, I have to applaud you. Most people aren't that way. And when I was talking with Dave a little while ago, I asked him what made him change his mind, and as we get older, we look at our health a little differently. And I think some of that is we're getting out of our own way. Some people might be motivated by just being older and wanting to take care of themselves, not necessarily having a drive like you do, or I might, and other people might. And that in and of itself is certainly beneficial for our health. So I thank you for your call and your time.
Sure, thank you.
Any questions or comments? Today I have decided to create the All About You show because my guest did not show up, and I'd love to talk with you. The holidays are coming. Do you have a person, people, or some type of support system in place that helps you, or are you self-motivated? And I'd like for you to share with us what that might be, like Brian just did, because you can probably help someone else who's not as motivated. Maybe they're kind of lost. They don't have the support system in place. 888-787-1310. Let's go to the next person. That is Joel in Flower Mound. Joel, you're on the ticket.
Yeah, hey, good morning, George.
Good morning.
Hey, two questions. They're not related. One is about vitamins. I've always wondered, is there a time of day
Day of
that's
call.
best to take vitamins? I take a multivitamin and fish oil and maybe a little bit extra vitamin E, that kind of stuff. Is it better to take it with food, without food, in the morning versus night, that sort of thing? And then the second was this, you're talking about this time of year and the stress that sometimes comes with it. Is there better food to help treat some of those stress symptoms? I think like a ginger root to help your stomach if you've got those kind of issues.
So let me address the first one. I may want to ask you questions about the second one. It's kind of interesting because only as of the last several years there seems to be a school of thought. Just listen to where I'm going with this. Don't take it as it's gospel. A school of thought that we don't need to take our vitamins with food for better chelation and absorption in our body, because with food you don't take vitamins. Meaning that with food you don't take anything with it, it absorbs in your body fine. However, this is the other side of the fence. If you take supplements that are crappy supplements, you might need to take them with food because they're not derived much from food because they've been processed so much and there's a lot of chemicals in them. So now you need something that supports you because you don't have food. If you have a supplement that's a whole food supplement that's derived not only from whole foods, but it's mostly made from whole foods and it's low process and it's still close to a whole food in some form, closer to a whole food rather than mostly chemical, then you don't need to take it with food. Now, I'm going to give you a third one that might confuse you. The third one is this. The third one says that if you take a certain supplement, and even if it's as healthy as it can possibly be, the highest quality, it may make your stomach upset and make you throw up. What is that? B vitamins. I remember years ago when I was riding my bike to the gym. I was so full of piss and vinegar that I got on the highway and rode my bike to the gym. It was about 6 miles away, and here I am, an idiot, just trying to be so focused and push through and do this, and I knew I'd need energy to get to the gym and still have that energy while I'm at the gym, so I took a bunch of B vitamins. Not a good move, especially not a good move on an empty stomach. I did this about, a quarter of the way on my ride. I pull over and without warning, wasn't even feeling nauseous, it came out of nowhere, I threw up. So how do I address your question of whether you should eat food and have supplements at the same time? In my experience, I feel it is most beneficial to have food with certain supplements and maybe not all supplements. However, it doesn't seem to defeat the purpose of having the supplement if we have supplement or supplements with food, which is to say that if you have supplements and you have food, you're not going to ruin your ability to absorb them, but certain supplements might upset your stomach. I know that was a long answer, but in my experience and through what I've read and what I've heard lately, this is my conclusion. I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. What about I think of way back when Bobby Riggs used to take 100 vitamins at one time. To me, wouldn't your body just, you talked on your show about how you can only absorb 25 grams of protein in one setting. Wouldn't your body just flush most of it? You taking 100 at one time, wouldn't your body just flush most of that stuff away?
So I don't know what the supplements were, but that's a great question, Joel. And let me tell you why. If you have to take 100 supplements at once, it shows you're not eating well. You're eating like crap. And you say, well, hold on, George, what's the goal? If my goal is to get a pump at the gym, to have extra energy and to recuperate and so on, you can still do this mostly with food and a handful of supplements. So I'll take about 10 supplements twice a day for a total of 20 to 25 supplements total. That's because I can't get the nutrients I'm trying to get from food. When you talk about protein now, it's not necessarily protein from pills, what we can absorb, The studies show that women can only absorb about 17 grams of protein per meal, per sit down. Men can absorb about 24 grams of protein per meal. So if you're taking more than that, you are flushing it out. And Brian, I want to address your last question. Joe, we have to. I'll address your last question, but we have to go to a break. Ask me that last question again. When I come back, I do want to answer it. Something about your foods.
Well, you were kind of talking about the theme of the holidays and how stress creeps into your life. Maybe more so this time of year. You've had shows in the past where you talked about how food had a calming effect or pleasing effect on the body, and so I was just thinking that might be a good refresher as well.
Thank you so much, Joel. Have a great day. I have a lot of people on the line. I love you and thank you for calling because today's show was impromptu. It was one where I created an All About You show last minute. My guest did not show up. So please stay on the phone. I do want to take all of your calls. I'll answer all of your questions today or listen to your comments about what you do to support yourself that may be able to benefit other people during these upcoming holidays. It's 727 Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. 735 Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. George DiGianni, Train Station Fitness Show. My guest has not shown up today, so this is an impromptu show. I'm calling it, again, the All About You show. I have no topic that's prepared because the topic is you. Call 888-787-1310 with any questions or comments you have. Look, we're coming up to the holidays, and people experience certain stresses in their life that they may or may not be aware of. Do you have a plan in place to support you to make sure you are either staving off the foods that will lower your immune system and put weight on you, or to at least be aware of it that says, I'd like to have it, I'm going to have it, but I'm going to be in charge of portion control. My last caller, Joel, left me with a question. I just want to run through the answer real fast. And the question was, which foods do you have that can help create a calming effect? And I'll give you a few of them. Pumpkin seeds, broccoli, Swiss chard, and spinach. They all have certain nutrients in them that help to calm the body. Zinc, vitamin A, vitamin C, K, and magnesium and manganese. Just want to throw this out there as a little sidebar. Most people are not aware of, in my opinion, that I've met, most people aren't aware of the amount of vitamin C that's in broccoli is more than in an orange. And so all of these nutrients that we need, especially having the right amounts of magnesium, can have a calming effect on our body. And if you don't have these from food and or supplements, you may have a little anxiety just from not having the nutrients. So if you're deficient in them, you have anxiety. We talked about that with Dr. Webster last week. So try those foods. Pumpkin seeds, Swiss chard, broccoli, and spinach can help with those issues. So Dave, who do we have next? We have Jay and Richardson. You are on the ticket.
Hey, George.
Hey, Jay.
Thanks for the help with the 21-day.
Oh, is that who this is? Jake, thank you so much for helping me out. I just want to let everybody know my website was hacked in the beginning of last week. It was shut down for about 3 days. Thank God we got it back up. And no information was given to anybody's personal information, but the website was just completely deleted and taken down, so we had to scramble and get that back up. Why am I saying this? Because Jay called and let us know that the site was down. I don't know if we were aware of it at that time, and he purchased a couple of the 21-day programs and helps to support us in our time of need. So thanks so much, Jay. What's your question?
All right, so 2 questions. So as I looked through what to do in the 21-day body makeover, I noticed that eggs were not part of it. So I, in the last month, I've lost about 20 pounds, going from about 240 to 220.
Proud of you.
By waking up and eating 1 full hard-boiled egg and 2 egg whites to get protein going.
Nice.
And then I want to know why it's not part of the body makeover, and then what after you think eggs fit in the diet. And then also the water intake. Notice that you encourage water, but up to 150 ounces. As of right now, I'm drinking about 300 ounces a day.
You're also a bigger guy, Jay. I just want to interject for a moment. Yeah. You're a bigger guy. You'll have more water requirements. You're exercising more. And for those who do exercise often, so here's what we have. I want to answer it backward. You're a bigger guy. You're tall. You've got a lot more weight. You're expending more energy. You're using that water up. If it's summertime, we use even more, even if we're not exercising. If it's summertime and you're exercising, you're using more. I'm trying to give people minimums in the 21-day body makeover to say, this is what you absolutely need. And we talk about your body weight and how to figure out how many ounces of water to have for your body weight.
But you do know that it includes a maximum of up to 150 ounces for some reason.
And the maximum I'm not aware of, though that needs to be changed. It's usually probably for the majority or the masses of the people who are not like you.
Okay.
And I don't like that number for a maximum, so thank you for bringing that to my attention. I want to address your egg question. And this is really, really odd because most people are not aware of most people being allergic to eggs. We find through testing that we are allergic to eggs, and there's nothing wrong with them, but what we suggest that you do during the 21-day program, which now lasts 30 days because the 2 of the 4 supplements last for a full 30 days on the program, we encourage you to remove those in case you do have an allergy to them. Now, I'll tell you this. I have an allergy to them, and the only way I found out wasn't through testing. It was through stopping those eating eggs during my own program, and then when I introduced them again, I started sneezing. And within a minute of eating eggs, I start sneezing, which tells me I have an allergic reaction, which is an immediate or EGG response. We talk about an acute or immediate reaction is an allergic reaction. I don't think you need to stop eggs for any other reason than you might be allergic to them. And if we are allergic to a specific food, any food, it can create inflammation, which can wreak havoc on our health. But so could nuts, right, and other foods. If you want, here's my suggestion. When you finish with the brownie shake on day 20 or day 19, start introducing eggs. See if there's any response that you have, headache, sneezing, itchy, watery eyes, anything like that. If not, begin your breakfasts with eggs. Okay?
All right.
Thank you so much, Jay.
Well, thank you. Have a nice day.
Have a great day. Let's go to John in Dallas. You are on the ticket.
Hi, George.
Hi, John.
My secret is 3 years ago I started working out with Coach Amory at Play Tribe, and she knocked 30 pounds off me in just a little over 60 days. But she did it with the diet, more of an inspiring attitude rather than nagging about you need to. And the breads are just terrible for you. In fact, I cut them out. I went cold turkey and found out that I was becoming depressed. Then I read a book called Wheat Belly and found out we're all hooked on bread, and it's just kind of like our heroin. We've had it all of our lives, and the brain is set up to receive that fix all day long.
So what I like about what you just said, John, several things. Number one, you talked about what you recognized as being detrimental to your health was wheat. We've discussed that many times here. You recognize the consequences of ending sugars altogether. When we have wheat bread, I don't care if it's whole wheat or not, it's still sugar.
It all turns to sugar in your body anyway.
Say it again.
It all turns to sugar in your body.
Right, and that's why many people don't know or appreciate sugar in fruit is still sugar. I don't want to hear that there's more fiber in fruit. The sugar in fruit is still sugar. It still affects your body. So if you're having too much fruit and not enough vegetables, it could be like eating a candy bar, especially if you're having bananas and watermelon and all those type of foods. One of the things that I want you to keep in perspective, though, when you're working out, don't give your trainer too much credit. These are one of the things where when I help people lose 100 pounds in 1 year and they've kept it off and they would sing my praises. From a business point of view, you'd never want to deflect credit. My stance has always been to help people. If you help people, the money is an applause. The money comes. I don't care about the money. I care about making an impact on your life, affecting your life so it changes your life. Never, ever, ever should a trainer, coach, anyone take the credit for what you've done. If you didn't decide to make the changes, if you didn't work out and push yourself, if you didn't make any of this effort, then the changes would not have happened. So the knowledge is what we give you, and I want you to give yourself credit and continue to give yourself credit for getting those results.
Well, when I give her praise, she always tries to deflect the credit, but I tell her it's a 50-50. The inspiration was, a big part of that.
I think it also depends on what she looks like, John.
Yeah, she's semi-attractive, but that's not
Oh
it.
my God, I hope she's not listening to this show.
it's the way she coaches. You know, I think for me to have done it on my own, I probably wouldn't have done it on my own.
So I love hearing that. Keep in mind, you have other ways. You have apps that can keep you accountable. It doesn't mean not to use a trainer. Just make sure you're getting the aspirations that you're intending to have in your life and going forward. And number 3 here is the knowledge. The knowledge you can acquire from anywhere. You can get it for free. You can get it and you can pay for it. The fact that you found someone and something that supports you and guides you, doesn't tell you what to do. I like that, because she found in your personality what works for you, your hot buttons that'll make you successful, where there might be another client that she has to tell, because some people need to be guided and told, or told rather than guided. It's a case-by-case scenario, and I like that, and thank you for that story.
Sure.
Have a great day. So coming up next, I have 2 more calls, and I'd love to talk with you, because this is one of those shows, again, it's impromptu, where my guest didn't show, and we would love to talk with you about your support systems. The holidays are coming. What are you doing? Specifically, what are you doing that is going to make a change from where you were last year? You weren't happy with yourself. The holidays are over. You felt sluggish. You get back to work. You have a new resolution. And what do? You fail within 3 months. But how do you prevent that now? What changes are you making? I want to talk with you coming up next. We'll discuss that. It's 7:45. Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket.
6-7 FM, The Ticket.
7:54, Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. George DiGianni Train Station Fitness Show. So we had a wheels off show today, but I think it wound up turning out to be positive because of you, the listener, who decided to call with how you are supported, how you became successful, you had questions, and you're able to help other people who may have trouble relating or keeping themselves in check, especially with the holidays coming. We have a couple more calls, and I'd like to take them now. So let's go ahead and go to Rhonda in Grand Prairie. You are on The Ticket.
Hi, I'm so glad to be on. I found that if I consciously, like 2 days before the holidays, start drinking a lot more water, but I add lemon and stevia or xylitol. Do you see any negative or any period of time when I shouldn't be drinking a lot of water?
Rhonda?
Yes.
I like you.
I love you, man.
How long have you been listening to this show?
A long time. A couple years.
Couple years. How old are you?
Yes.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
58. And thanks to you, I now religiously go see Dr. Webster.
Yeah, and so how have you changed by listening to our advice?
Oh my gosh. I eat bread very rarely. When I get really stressed out, I have like a bite. And I've cut out sugar, except for dark chocolate periodically.
And how have you changed? What's changed in your life? Have you begun to speak a little faster or sleep better?
No, I don't think I'll ever change my speak pattern, but my sleep, yes, and now I go to sleep and sleep 8 hours. It's kind of incredible.
That's really, really good. I'm proud of you. So you asked me a direct question about having too much water. I think you're doing a great job. Would you be open to the possibility of having that extra water all of the time, regardless of whether the holidays are coming or not?
No, but as far as how your food is digested is what I'm kind of concerned about. I think I've heard y'all talk about.
So I think I know what you're saying, Rhonda, just to interrupt for a moment. I think what you're saying is if you have too much food close to the time you're going to eat, it'll affect your digestion. And if that is so, you're right. You don't want to have too much close to the time you're going to eat. You want to have water 20 minutes before you're going to eat. You can have a little bit with food, but I mean very little with food, so you don't affect your digestion. It doesn't mean you can't increase your water consumption throughout the day and keep it high throughout the day, because it'll actually help you. It also actually helps to move all of those toxins out of your body. So I wish you the best of luck. I thank you for the compliment of calling today and believing that I can help you in some way, and also that you've listened to the show for this period of time. Wish you the best of luck. You have a great day.
too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's go to William in the Colony.
Good morning, George. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I am outstanding this morning. Just wanted to drop, I guess, a little of what I do during the holidays and just kind of some suggestions on what I carry with me. I don't deprive myself of these foods that we love. I make sure it's in moderation, and I think that's one of the simplistic things to any diet is moderation. But
William, what's your motivating factor? Because there are a lot of things that we mention that can help people, and a lot of people are aware of these, we'll call them tools. But what motivates you to stay disciplined at any level?
Well, multi things, George. One thing is food addiction runs in my family, so I see it on a first-hand basis of what food can do, us falling into these habits of eating too much or eating for comfort. And I just turned 30 this year, and I was blessed with the genes of a high metabolism, and I know that at any time they could go away. So I still have to watch the intake that I have, knowing that is in my genetics.
So in what I just heard from you, William, was your most beneficial tool is awareness. The fact that you're aware of what's available or what's in your genetic makeup or your family keeps you disciplined.
Point blank, yeah, nail on the head right there, George, is knowing what these foods can do to me and the depression that it puts on people's lives around me because of their weight issues and the foods that they're intaking. It's probably the biggest factor on the way that I eat is I don't want to fall into these habits. And
sometimes that's our motivating factor. I thank you for the call, William. I have to let you go, but what I like is when we learn from our parents or for those who raised us, we learn through example. Sometimes those examples backfire, thank God, because my father smoked most of his life. I hated smoke, and I never smoked. So I learned, in one sense, through example, that's not good, and I didn't like it. In some sense, or other ways, we learn through example to do things that aren't healthy for us, and we don't want to do them, but that was the example we had growing up. And so if you find that you are benefited by observing your family in a way that keeps you safe or safer, and you believe that one day you might rub off on them by the way you live and how you look and feel, then just continue down that road. I don't know how anybody else can tell you to do anything different, and they should enhance those efforts. I thank everybody for calling today. Hopefully it wasn't two wheels off of a show. Once again, it was an impromptu show, and our guest was a no-show. With all of that said, let's go to the T-Box.